What you doing, readers? I'm the AC, and I'm going to talk about Platinum End, Volume 11. Yes, I've been waiting for this one for a while. Finally released in English, at least, on April 7th. I like to read the physical version, so it took a couple weeks for me to get it because of the way the world is right now. But I got it, I read it, and I have to say, it's probably my favorite volume so far. And there's a lot of reasons why. One, there's a lot of philosophical and a little bit of scientific talking, debating in this volume. And I'm going to warn you, if you are very devout to your religious beliefs, you're probably not going to like this volume. And especially if you don't like people to question you. If you're open-minded and you are just curious to have a different way of thinking, there's a lot in this book that there is to say. Now, I won't spoil too much that happens, but there's also, I guess, action-wise, not too much to spoil. A lot of it is mainly just very interesting discussing of these beliefs. Because if you know the whole story of Platinum End, anyways, you know it's about people trying to become the next god. So there are religious overtones, it can be. But the newest addition to the series is Professor Gaku Yoneda. Scientist, won Nobel Prize, blah blah blah. He has his Angel Mooney, Angel Destruction, a special class. And we saw him at the end of Volume 10, and Volume 11 is pretty much all about him meeting the rest of the group. And pretty much the entire volume is just the other five, Mirai, Saki, Yuri, Susumi, and Shuji, just going out in the open, revealing themselves, exposing who they are to the rest of the world, and wanting to meet the last candidate to be God. And at first, they just meet Mooney, and Mooney is like, okay, we want to know what your five, reasons for being God would be, and what you would do if you're God. And eventually, the five go to different news stations. They say what they would do if they were God. Some of them kind of self-centered, maybe. Some of them kind of for the betterment of what they think people would need, or just nothing. And this is enough to actually get Professor Yoneda's attention, that he finally exposes himself to the world. And then this is where a good chunk of the volume actually takes place, is their discussion of why they think what they think, and if it even matters. And what I mean by this is Yoneda is questioning if there's even a God. And he has his own logic for all this. He's saying it's fact, yes, that there are angels. You can't deny it because he's obviously flying. He also has wings and he can shoot arrows. But he's saying God is not really there. He puts his whole question, what came first, God or man? He's saying God is some kind of being, creature that came from the will of man. And it is a fascinating thing, but it also brings up all these complications of what do you do? How do you tell all these people no, there's no God? And maybe seeing all these people, these six floating up in the sky saying they're God candidates, it's going to complicate things even more. It's okay, now there's definitely a God, but then if these six are also going to say no, there's no God, then everyone's going to kind of be well, what are we supposed to believe? And there's also complications. Mirai is worried if we tell people there will be no God, then all these people who rely on their beliefs will just lose hope and all this other stuff. I would disagree with that. If you ever met any religious person, they will believe whatever they want, and they are 100% sure that this is true. They probably don't even believe all this stuff is going on anyways. I mean, technology nowadays, this could easily just be special effects. I mean, most people are watching on the news, even people out there, they could, watching it live, could probably think of it happening with some kind of trick. And this also goes into what Yoneda's also saying, is like, science is getting so advanced that humans can be their own god. Like, technology can do the stuff people are relying on God to do. So, it seems like there's this, okay, people are relying on God because they aren't relying on themselves. But with science, they can start doing that more. So the need of God is not really a need. It's just something you want, something you have to believe, some kind of hope you have in your life. And it's all just, just all debated in here. And they go back and forth. You see characters' views change, and it's all logical. There's no just like, this is what I'm saying, you gotta believe this now. It's more like, look, here's what we have, here's why I believe this, here's the outcomes that could happen, these are the possibilities of what people could think, but we can't really tell people what to think or what to believe. Obviously, we're going to have some kind of influence, but ultimately it is up to each individual person. Saki eventually chimes in a little bit, saying how each person can have their own personal God, something that they personally believe in that would give them their own hope. And I've seen other theories like this happen before, and it's an interesting thing. Yeah, let people believe whatever they want to believe. You can't force them to do something else. But then there's this whole thing of like, where are the angels coming from then? Like, they can see their angels, they can obviously fly, and it's like, is the human will powerful enough to manifest these kind of angels? I don't know, we'll have to see, because you can tell that people's minds are starting to change. They're starting to question what they actually believe and what they're going to do with that. But overall, it seems like all of them do want like a better life. It's not like anyone's being an antagonist now in this book. It's just they have different things they want to do, but they all seem like good characters now. But there is another problem. Now they expose themselves to the world. So what is that going to do? They were already worried about the other world powers wanting to capture them or use them for war or whatever. And maybe people are just scared of these, what could be powerful weapons. So this creates a whole nother problem in the world. Also, if just a little bit, maybe Professor Yoneda has an alternative motive that he's not expressing. Maybe it's still for good. Maybe it's the whole like antagonist with maybe a radical but still seems like a good idea in the end, but maybe extreme at the moment. I don't know, we'll have to see what happens in the future. Now, it seems like this is leading up to the final arc of this series. We see all the God cans now, unless there's some big turn in later volumes. I don't know. There looks like there's enough chapters released so far for there would be about 2 more volumes. I don't know if there would be a third one after that, but it seems like it's going to be wrapping up. I'll say it's quick. It'll be probably another year, maybe 2, but we'll see what happens. But what do you think? It's a really interesting volume to read, and I really, really recommend it if you just want to like kind of dive into this philosophical way of thinking and just to question these kind of beliefs. And it takes a little scientific turn at little points, so you can kind of view it, analyze what they're saying through those lenses. But definitely recommend reading this. It's just a whole lot to think about, and it's good for you. It's good to look at stuff through different lenses. So go ahead, give it a read. Volume 11 of Platinum End. But what do you think? Do you like Platinum End so far? Have you already read Volume 11? Do you agree, disagree with me? Did you just absolutely hate what they were saying? I don't know, let me know. We'll argue in the comments. I'm not afraid. I like arguing. I've argued with people about my videos before anyways, which is always fun to do. But if you do like the video and what I have to say, actually give this video a like. If you want to see me talk more about what I'm reading, go ahead and subscribe to my channel because I will be doing that all the time. But until then, I'm the AC. Thank you for watching and bye.